Aladdin, the 2019 family adventure musical film. This is a remake of the popular Disney 1992 animated film of the same name. This movie follows the exact same story. We have Aladdin, he finds a magic lamp, Genie pops out, grants him some wishes, and he tries to hook up with the Princess Jasmine. This movie is directed by Guy Ritchie, and one of my favorite Guy Ritchie films was the British gangster movie Snatch. That was one of my favorite films. In fact, when I used to work on Blockbuster Video back in the day, I used to constantly recommend that movie to people. Since then, he's done all sorts of films. There was the horrible Swept Away movie, which was critically panned. But then there was also stuff like Sherlock Holmes, which I was neutral on. There was The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I really liked. It was like a James Bond-esque kind of spy film. Then there was also King Arthur, which was, very much spectacle with the medieval knights fighting and whatnot. And then we have him doing Aladdin now, and it's kind of an interesting departure for Guy Ritchie and a very different movie for him. Very big budget and also a musical, so it's kind of interesting seeing him attached to this film. So this movie has a lot of relative newcomers leading this film. So we have Mena Massoud as Aladdin and Naomi as Princess Jasmine. I've never seen them in anything before. And I thought both of them were really good as their main roles. I thought they were really fun. They were really likable. They were good singers. I thought they had good chemistry. Anytime they were both on screen, I liked their interaction. So I thought both of them did a really good job. Now we have Will Smith as the Genie, a very kind of controversial choice because Robin Williams was so beloved as the Genie in the initial film. When the trailer for this Aladdin movie first came out, a lot of people were very skeptical of Will Smith, and they were making fun of his appearance in the trailer, all dressed in blue, and everyone thought he looked ridiculous. Myself included, I also thought he looked kind of silly, but I have to say, Will Smith did a great job in this movie. He was marvelous as the Genie. He was funny, he was entertaining, his songs were great. The thing with his performance is that, it's hard to match up to Robin Williams, but he delivers a very kind of similar performance, but he also provides his own sort of unique spin on that performance and sort of changes it a little bit and, brings that Will Smith to it. And I thought he did a really good job as the Genie and probably one of the highlights of the film. Now, as far as one of the negatives of the film is Jafar. Now, Jafar is fine. Jafar is always kind of like this very over-the-top, mustache-twirling evil villain, and he was in this movie, but I don't know, something about Jafar just didn't really work for me. I also felt his costumes were a little bit kind of ridiculous in a way. They felt kind of like he was a Power Rangers villain. They were just like too colorful and too like perfect as like the suit of armor or something sometimes. So that was a little bit maybe over the top. He looked like he was holding a toy sometimes with this snake staff thing he used to change people's minds. So something about Jafar just didn't really work for me. Now, comparing this film to the original, I thought the live action aspect of it did really elevate various things in the movie. So one example is this scene where sort of Aladdin is trying to court Jasmine and he's supposed to be very kind of awkward. When you have live actors acting that out, it's a lot funnier than in the cartoon. They're able to bring a lot more nuance to their performance. So I thought that really did work. I also felt that the visuals when you have a live action were in many ways kind of more visually stunning than in the cartoon movie. They're able to bring a lot more to various scenes. Now, when you have the various songs in this movie, which are almost identical to the songs in the initial film, the added visuals just bring so much more to, your enjoyment of those songs. And the songs were great in this. So we have like Arabian Nights, Friend Like Me. That's the one where Will Smith, is introducing himself as the Genie. We got A Whole New World. But my favorite song in the movie was the Prince Ali one where Aladdin, becomes a prince and he's sort of introducing himself to the whole village and he has this grand entrance and, really good song, but also the visuals accompanying it brought a lot more to the story than maybe they did in the initial cartoon version. On to some of my negatives. I think the main thing that this movie bothers people is that it is a rehash of a Disney movie once again. And Disney is doing this a lot. So we had Dumbo a few months ago, and then we're going to have Lion King later this summer, and then we have, Aladdin. So they're just remaking all their most popular movies. They're not doing anything original, and I totally get that criticism. It would be great if Disney's tried to do something new instead, but at the same time, I'm not going to hold that against this movie because it's basically, if you like the original movie, you're getting the exact same stuff here, but done in many ways a little bit better because of the visual spectacle of everything. So, despite it being a rehash, it's still a good movie. My other criticisms were all that Jafar stuff I mentioned. We're not fully buying his character. I know some people felt the world was maybe too polished and wasn't dirty enough. Like people's clothes were too nice and not, covered and stuff. And maybe there's a little bit there, but that's really minor nitpicking stuff to me. Overall, though, I really enjoyed this movie. I watched the original actually just a few weeks ago, so it's very fresh in my mind, and I thought this one sort of managed to copy and relive the experiences of that first movie, but do it with greater visual flair and also sort of add to the story a bit. So we have more character moments, we have some new songs for Jasmine that were okay, not too bad, and it just brought a lot more to the movie. So if you like the original, there's no reason to not like this one because it's kind of the original, but times two. So it's good. I liked it. I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10.